some of these critics, these pundits.
I absolutely adore them lads. I have unbelievable time for them, but they're a great bunch, but it's not acceptable.
I'd like to play the hard man when they're on it. It's not very pleasant when you're trying to manage a team. All you're looking for is a bit of civility and a bit of decency, but they just miss you like you know, you have nothing to do with the bloody occasion.
Now, the Quick Picks winners of the last 3 years are right here, you and I. Where's Adrian Barry? Not here.
Well,
Tommy Rooney,
I don't know if I'm not a winner. Not yet.
You're ahead of everybody. Unless something dramatic is going to happen. I don't know if the percentages. Here they are. Oh no, Tommy's gone level with you. 76.
Oh.
Wow.
What?
Okay, this is a lot closer than I thought it was. I thought you were a bit further ahead of Tommy. I've written Tommy off way too quickly. Owen and Adrian, look at how far they are behind us though.
I don't know how that works now. So last week I was in the lead and me and Tommy had the same teams.
And you both picked Kerry to win, right?
Yeah.
This is pretty questionable.
Yeah, so we need to look into that. Yeah.
We need an independent observer to look at these stats at the end of this. But Colin, our producer, is just throwing his hands up to heaven and saying, look, these are the stats. This is what I think it's mainly been Cameron who's been watching them over the last while. I much prefer when there wasn't actually a table. But
okay.
Hey, we still got
what did you do then?
I don't know. Look, we just kind of went, oh yeah, our predictions weren't great last week.
We don't know who won.
Us off. Yeah. I kind of like that. We go, no, we're all doing really well. I think, look, a 76%, and in my case was that 72% hit rate's not bad.
Not bad, and you won it last year.
I did the last 2 years.
Did you get anything for it, Will?
No.
Stop.
I got to do a video back to Adrian because I was away, I think, at the time, and the volume was down on the video on YouTube. So that's how much celebration I got to have.
Lovely.
I think people heard it on OTB Sports Radio. So if people are listening in that way this morning, you know, you're guaranteed to hear everything. But unfortunately for the YouTube, the volume was down when I was giving my address.
That wasn't Adrian doing that on purpose, do you know?
Yeah, I got a promotion apparently as well, according to Colin.
Oh right, okay, good stuff. Yeah, I think you should absolutely have a little medal at least. Trophy. Yeah, maybe we'll bring that in.
Gold, silver and bronze. Because we only at this stage, I think, given that we're this week only doing the senior ladies football final, we'll probably do the senior camogie final for next week. So we've only got 2 games left. So given that you and I almost certainly have had the same pick this week, you or Tommy are going to win.
Yeah, well, we're still going to look into that now. I'm not fully sure if that is the exact result. We'll look at the calculations.
Let's have a look at the graphic then and see who everyone has picked, because Tommy, Adrian and Owen are all in abstention. Look at Owen going for pride here and going for Kerry, just to create the Meath flag in the middle of the predictions too.
Exactly.
With one piece of yellow through the green. Right, tell me why Meath are going to win, Ash, before we can consider how Kerry could win.
I think it's going to be a really close game, and the reason that I'd say that Meath might be able to push on is because they did it in game after game against Galway. In the last kick of the game, Emma Duggan stood up. They know how to do it in those crucial moments, in the dying minutes. So if it comes down to that, which I think it might go the whole way to the wire and it might come down to the last few minutes, then I would be backing Meath to be able to push on, because they've been in that situation time and time again. So for me, that's where I see it being won and lost. Now, who knows? Like if Kerry can break down their defensive structure, if they can get in on goal, they're well able to score goals. They did it against Mayo, but it was very easy against Mayo to get those goals. I felt, you know, that at times it looked like they were going to score goals again and again. They were just really walking through that defence. And look, I spoke with some of the Mayo management and stuff after the team, and they said that's how it felt to them. You know, it wasn't a great performance by them, especially in that first half. Much better in the second half. But yeah, they're dangerous going forward, but I don't think they're going to have as much freedom against Meath. So for me, just about, I would say Meath will edge it. But yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, look, I take Noel Healy's point from yesterday's OTB AM that this Kerry team, many of them have been around for a while. They've still got players who were there a decade ago and they were last in the final, and they are backboning that team. You had your video, Ash, which went viral with Louise Galvin, who's come back in to bolster her panel this year, only a few months after she's given birth. And these are, you know, a help for Kerry. I thought Kerry played pretty well against Mayo. Watched the game in the telly a couple of weeks ago when the doubleheader was on. But I was a bit like you, maybe a bit more impressed by what Meath had to do. They were up against a Donegal team who put a full lockdown on Dublin in the round before. It was looking a little bit ropey for Meath at different times in trying to break them down. And then Meath still had the X factor. In that case, it was Emma Duggan just scoring remarkable points. And when you've got talents like that, and you've got Vicky Wall, maybe you've got Stacey Keogh, these type of players who can make a difference up front, I think if there are difficult questions posed of Meath in this final this weekend, I'm sure you're going to agree with everything I've just said, I think they can find the answers.
Yeah, and like things have happened throughout the games. They've got sin bins. You know, they had a yellow card for Vicky, for Moira. They had that in the Leinster final against Dublin as well. I know they didn't come out on top that day, but they don't seem to panic. And that is a massive thing with this team, that when it comes right down to the last minute, dying minutes, to get over the line, they don't panic and they're able to push on. So for me, that's where it'll come down to. It's All-Ireland final day. Hopefully we'll have a big crowd in Croke Park. It's a massive occasion for both teams. Really massive now for Kerry, you know, that they haven't been there in so long. As you mentioned, Louise Galvin, Louise Niemeyer-Hurtig, these players that have been there time and time again, you know, this is their chance and they're going to look at it like that. This is their chance. These days don't come around too often, so they're not going to let it pass them by too easy, that's for sure. And I'm sure their management are going to have their homework done on me. They know exactly how they play, but hopefully they stick to their way of playing and they don't change it up completely to try and, you know, play against Meath in a way to stop them. I think it's going to be more play your own style, trust the process, trust why you've got here, you know, in the first place, because they do play a great brand. But yeah, they're a great team. They're a great side, and you couldn't write them off. Well, you really couldn't.
Yeah, I'm hugely looking forward, by the way, to the intermediate final, which is the All Leinster affair between Wexford and Laois. These two teams played an absolute cracker in Portlaoise earlier this year in the Leinster semi-final. Laois were up by double digits in the game, and Wexford somehow fought back. And in the 6 minute of injury time, they equalised, sent it to extra time, won in extra time. You would have thought maybe that would have had some psychological scarring for Laois, but the last day out, Laois played against Clare in Roscommon in Kiltoom and managed to win after extra time in the heat. Moan Ernie scored 114, 110 of it from play, which is just absolutely incredible. Incredible story about Moan Ernie. Last time that Laois played in the final was the senior decider in 2001. Guess who was the mascot for Laois on the day?
Yes, it was her.
Moan Ernie. And her best memory was getting a cooked breakfast on the way to the game, which was her reward for being the mascot for the Laois team. And this time she goes out to lead them out basically as their main player in the final against Wexford. So the intermediate final was great.
That's really
it's a magic story.
Yeah.
I think during the middle of the pandemic it was the 20th anniversary, and there were photos of Mo who you know, was basically there with all the players and effectively being brought around before the game, and they were all keeping an eye on her. And then there's still some of the players that have just retired in the last year or two that were there on the day too, so she's still that link back to their team in 2001. But Wexford, a bit like Meath, got to the final, lost the final. They'll now look to win an intermediate final, and we'll see how they kick on after that.